Just when I thought they couldn't be any more disgusting. Just when I thought the level of disgrace could not get any lower. Just when I thought they could not be any more repulsive. The ladies on The View, once again, find another unique way to prove why no self-respecting man watches this garbage. Not only do self-respecting men refuse to watch the Yentas, if you happen to be a single man, I highly suggest that you don't date women with a high tolerance of toxic flatulence. If you're on a date with a woman and she starts cranking her leg in preparation to hike it, emulating her idol, the whoopee cushion, pay your tab, get the hell out of there. Don't even worry about paying her tab. Let her blame the toxic masculinity. Pay your tab, get the hell out. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Today is Sunday, the Sabbath. Now, for most people, Sunday is the one day of the week that is set aside for rest and relaxation. Here in a couple of months, we'll spend our Sunday afternoons watching NFL Red Zone. During these dreadful summer months, maybe you spend a relaxing Sunday afternoon watching golf. That's what my dad does. I guarantee you right now, my dad is laying in his recliner watching golf with his eyes closed and his mouth wide open. Perhaps you'll spend the day today watching Major League Baseball. Maybe you're really bored and you have decided to watch the exciting action in the WNBA dump. As I was prepping this video, I was watching the Indiana Felines and the Chicago Bravado, or as they are more commonly known, Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. But to hell with all that, to hell with all that. To hell with Major League Baseball. To hell with the dump divers in the WNBA. Uncle KC, he has something better for you. Uncle KC has something far more entertaining. This afternoon, we are going to come together and watch women who are decades, possibly even centuries past their prime years, according to the calculations of Don Lemon. We are going to listen to the Yentas describe how people with nearly 3 digits in their age fornicate. Now, you're probably wondering, why are the Yentas discussing fornication? I didn't think a self-respecting man would be willing to participate with them. Yeah, well, unfortunately, there are a lot of lonely men out there. Lonely men who get excited at the sight of Big Red Joy Behar. Lonely men who prefer women who lack the ability to make facial expressions. Decades of Botox, it has left Big Red with a permanent scowl on her face. I mean, every time I see Joy Behar, she has this consistent look of bitterness. But Friday morning, the lovely ladies on The View, they were discussing the process of making babies. Now, surprisingly, they were not describing how masculine Matt and feminine Frank can passionately come together and become a male birthing person. The beauties on The View, they were discussing traditional fornication. Deacons at Woke United Methodist, they would call it antiquated. They were discussing the process between men and women. Now, the reason they were talking about this, it was reported last week that Bill Belichick has a young girlfriend. When I say young, I mean young. I'm 39 years old and I'm old enough to be her father if I had a child at 15 or 16. Billy is 72, maybe 73 years old. He's a hell of a lot closer to 100 than he is to 20, which means Billy is old enough to be his girlfriend's great-grandfather? Either way, who cares? Good for Bill Belichick. If he's 72 years old and he's got the je ne sais quoi, he's got the energy, the confidence, and the game to be with a young woman who was playing in Pampers when he won his first Super Bowl. Good for Bill Belichick. If she's happy and he's happy, who gives a shit? Well, apparently, the Yentas on The View do. Friday morning, they were discussing the personal relationship of Bill Belichick. Big Red Joy Behar, she was experiencing feelings of rage. Perhaps she was jealous that this 24-year-old woman was dating a man that she doesn't have a chance with. One of the anonymous panelists, I think her name is Andrea or Andy or Amos, Who cares? It doesn't matter what her name is. She's got to be 10, maybe 15 years younger than Big Red. Kind of hard to tell age on this show because there's so much fresh plastic. But the younger anonymous Yenta, she had the audacity to womansplain to Joy Behar about how old people do the hibbity dibbity. Watch for yourself.
He takes her places that she wouldn't be going on her own. And if she's having fun...
Not in the bedroom, he's not.
No, but if she's having fun...
There's only so much Viagra in the world, okay?
I actually disagree with you on that.
Oh, really?
I think sometimes...
Well, how old is your husband older than you?
We have a little bit over 20 years. Look at Robert De Niro. He just had a baby.
Yeah.
Okay, the issue of whether you can have sex or not at 80 is no longer a question.
Well, you can with Viagra,
Yeah, but not only that. I would tell you that older men are a lot of times better lovers because they got to work at it more.
Anna.
I don't know what to say. I noticed the absence of the whoopee cushion, who I believe is off every Friday, so she's got an extra day during the weekend to refill her toxic gas tank. But with the flatulating cushion being absent, you would think the air would be less toxic. You would think the air would be fresher. Friday morning, the mouth farts were a hell of a lot more toxic than the boodle breeze from the whoopee cushion. What the hell was that? Who woke up Friday morning clamoring for Andrea Navarro to explain her attraction to the wrinkled cucumber? I noticed they mentioned Robert De Niro having a child while knocking on heaven's door. Now look, I am in no position to judge Robert De Niro. If he wants to have a child at his age where the only thing they have in common is counting months, the child counting months as it pertains to its age, and Bob counting months as it pertains to how much time could possibly be left. If Robert De Niro wants to have a child at 80 or 90 years old, however the hell old he is, that's fine. That is fine. There is no doubt that Robert De Niro can financially support the kid. There's no doubt that financially the kid will want for nothing. But is it really fair to the child? One of my dad's friends, he's in his mid-50s. His wife is significantly younger. She's probably closer to my age. She wants to have another kid. He doesn't. Now, they can financially support another child, but he doesn't want to have another kid because he doesn't think it would be fair to the kid. He doesn't want to be watching his high school graduation from the nursing home. But this show, The View, this show is an absolute disgrace. Remember last week when the ladies on The View were pretending to be afraid of Donald Trump? Orange Man bad! They were pretending to be afraid of the Trumper winning the election. You remember that? I believe Rachel Maddow was the guest Yenta that day. They were telling the audience that Trump was planning on building all these camps, and he was going to put his political enemies in the camps. Rachel Maddow and the ladies on The View, they weren't worried about themselves. They weren't worried about the Trumper coming after them. No. The ladies and Rachel, they were worried about you. The orange man will go after the peasants. He's going to use the FBI to find them, and he's going to put them in camps. Oh, it's going to be awful. Since 2016, Donald Trump has been public enemy number one on The View. The whoopee cushion won't even say his name. She refers to him as you-know-who. You-know-who controlled the southern border. You-know-who brought economic prosperity. You-know-who enforced the law. Sun host and Asuncion. She pretends to be frightened anytime the Trumper is mentioned. Alyssa the Farrah Griffin, the Great Pretender, she creates these elaborate fairy tales of Donald Trump running the federal government like John Gotti ran the mafia. He threatens to whack anyone who doesn't agree with him, and I would know. I'm Alyssa the Farrah Griffin. I was a low-level staffer in his administration working in the Department of Janitorial Services. If you watch The View, you would rightfully assume that they hate oranges. They don't like the orange fruit. They like grapes. They like apples. They damn sure like lemons, especially Don's brand. But the ladies on The View, they don't like the orange man, right? As I was prepping this video, I came across some old clips of The View. This was back when Barbara Walters was still involved with the show. This was during a time when The View was actually respected. The show was still geared towards women, but the host of the show, they weren't man-hating women. They weren't allergic to toxic masculinity. Matter of fact, they seemed to be attracted to it. Watch for yourself.
So I believe him because I believe Donald. He's an upstanding American. My God.
Okay, you ready? Come in. Just check it out.
No, it's true. It's real.
It's not very pretty, but it's real.
Donald's been doing
Well,
them.
because he's in a leadership position, I'm not sure that that's an effective way to attack your opponent.
Strange thing has happened over the last couple of years called Twitter. And I have this account with millions of people.
Right.
And I've got all these, and I used to say I want to own a newspaper. This is better. Whoopi, I'm telling you.
Whoopi,
I love you. I'm telling
I love
you.
you too. I think
What the hell happened? What changed? How did Donald Trump go from being beloved by the ladies on The View to being treated like a pariah? How did they go from loving the Trumper to running their fingers through his hair to pretending to be disgusted by him? The only thing that changed, Donald Trump became president. When he started running in 2015, Trump ran on the platform of being a man of the people. He ran on a platform of draining the filthy swamp in Washington, D.C. Once that happened, the media, they no longer viewed Trump as being one of them. The media started to view him as one of the others. And when I say the others, I'm talking about you and me. Now, this is speculation, but I think one of the reasons the media hates Trump, they feel betrayed by him. For decades, he was accepted by the mainstream media. He decides to run for president, he becomes a Republican, and he betrays his pretend friends in the media. In the process, he also exposed them. Before Trump, the media had some level of credibility. I wouldn't say they were fully trusted, but they were trusted a hell of a lot more than they are today. Now, no one trusts the mainstream media. The Trumper, he exposed them as fake news, which is probably why they no longer like him. Probably why he no longer receives his invitation to the Butt Bongo Festival. I mean, how else can you explain it? How else can you explain this rapid transformation? You tell me. How did the ladies on The View go from fawning all over the Trumper to pretending to be disgusted by him? Like I said, the whoopee cushion, she won't even say his name. Also, give me your thoughts on the segment where The View is describing their attraction to older dudes. I mean, that was great TV, right? Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.